Well, first off, how are you feeling after that wonderful performance out there?
I feel amazing, to have the opportunity to be here to perform the last show of the year and just to be here at the UFC. I'm definitely grateful to be a part of the team.
I was going to say, definitely, when I was listening to your post-fight interview, that's the overall sentiment I felt was the gratefulness of being here. Granted, you're in here. You were supposed to fight her before. Are you glad that you were finally able to get that fight? And like you said, you're ending the year strong. You're ending on the last ESPN card. Is this fight maybe just more special than others because it's just the last one of the year?
Yeah, and I think I had the opportunity to fight on the last one last year, so it just felt right. We were offered a short notice fight also in between these two, so it felt like third time's a charm. And my team's invested a lot of time and energy into preparing for this exact fight camp. So it was really nice to be able to sort of get that win and get that one off the dust off the bottle and move on to the next one and show that we were prepared for that.
I know there's been a little bit of time since that first time you were supposed to fight her. I mean, do things change much on the game plan? Do you go back and look at the footage? I mean, was it pretty much what you had prepared before, the same sort of strategy for this one? And what was that strategy for tonight?
Yeah, I feel the strategy definitely stayed the same between the two camps. I think what changed was my mindset and the evolution of my striking and just being more comfortable, pushing forward and not being afraid of just her having a longer reach. I've always been typically the longer opponent, so I think the game plan just got solidified, and it just gave me opportunity to grow and evolve a little bit more.
And you talk about your hands, your striking looked incredible. Eventually, that's what led to the finish there in the fight. So I guess, was that something that you felt was lacking, or was just the natural maturation of your fight game, your striking is just going to get better as you keep doing this?
I think my striking is just, I'm settling into it a little bit more, just the nerves of the first few fights, fighting under this promotion. I'm still learning. I'm still, just, what am I at, 9 to 11 fights now in the UFC, as a pro. And so I think, too, it's just, just time under the belt and sort of just getting comfortable and setting in. And now I'm finding my place and my groove. My fight in June, I think I got to showcase a little bit more of the striking that I've always had and sort of believe in myself a little bit more and just learn.
And just kind of walk me through that final sequence there. You definitely heard her. Could you tell that she was was stunned, and that did the sense, like the moment to kill just kind of stood up? Because once you heard her, it just seemed like you swarmed her at that fact, like you had been practicing that all through fight camp.
Honestly, I'm not one to normally jump into something. If I see someone injured, I'm pretty educated and calculated when I move in. And the last few things we said before walking out, my one coach Jay said to me, he's like, if she's hurt, we're not rushing in. We're going to just move in methodically. We're going to just stay in our stance. Wait it out, look for the right shots. And it looks a little bit, I think when I seen it back in the ring, a little bit hungry and fish out of the water. But I think I was very smart, and I knew I had her in the right place, and I was safe to sort of take that advantage. From the get-go, we weren't sure how the strength was going to play out, and getting our hands on one another, I knew I could let her work on the cage, and I could feel her and I could hear her breathing heavy, and I knew it was my opportunity to tire her out a bit. And once we separated, I don't think she anticipated that I'd be right back in her face.
Yeah, and even though you said you didn't want to swarm if she was hurt, and maybe I'll have to go back and look at it, but I thought the precision was there. When you were coming at her, it looked like your striking was pretty on point. So, overall, just in terms of your accuracy and that, you got to be pretty happy with that tonight.
Yeah, that's something I've worked on now, I would say probably 22 weeks. So landing that overhand right and sort of finishing with the uppercut, which we call the Dion. And so there we go.
What's the story behind the Dion? Why the Dion?
My training partner is named Dion, and he's been hit with that punch multiple times in the last 10 weeks. So I want to say thank you for taking those punches. It was part of my success tonight.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. And looked finally, it looked like at the very end that you were able to come over and just exchange some words. Were you able to kind of share what you guys were talking about there?
I just always have appreciation for the people that step in the cage. There's fights that fell off today, and there's fights that fell off. I had the opportunity to almost not fight in June on 10 days short notice. So I'm always grateful to be able to get in there and actually get the job done and do my work. And for that to happen, I need somebody on the other side. And I've been in her position before where I've had big chunks of time in between fights, and it's not easy to come back after 2.5 years off and battling injuries and stuff. So props to her for that, and thankful to be able to showcase, that I'm still here and able to do that.
So what's next? Are you back in the gym on Tuesday, or are you going to give yourself a little bit of time to bask in this win before you're back in the gym? What's the next
I'm trying
steps?
not to look over your shoulder because I know my coaches are standing over there and they're saying, we'll see you on Monday. And I can feel it. I don't even need to hear it. So yeah, 2 minutes in the cage. I mean, I had such a great camp and very fortunate, no naggy injuries, no missed days. And I think all those things, just roll because I kept being consistent and stay in the gym, and that's sort of the life I live, and I'm sure I'll be back on Monday or Tuesday.
Well, since you're back in the gym on Monday or Tuesday, how do you celebrate the victory tonight then?
I already made pre-made reservations, which is something I don't normally do. I don't make plans until the fight's over, but I pre-made some reservations for some nice dinner with the boys and my mom and her husband and a couple friends, and then we'll see where the night takes us.
What's the celebratory food? What's the go-to food? Is it the same sort of meal always after a fight, or?
No. Usually we're fighting in places where I just get like a hamburger or some pub food. So this time I made the opportunity here in Vegas to find some really good fine dining, and we're going to go to this place called Yardbird and get some really good food.
Awesome. Congratulations on the
Thank you so
victory.
much.
Congrats on the win. Just a couple for me. That was a fantastic performance. Just to kind of touch on what you talked about with Kenny, I remember watching Vanderlei Silva fight and a couple of these like really vicious guys that were monsters, and they would aim for the ear. And I saw when you landed that right hook to the ear, that was trouble. I mean, that was picture perfect. I don't know if it was just your timing, the position, you saw the shot, her hands were down, but you couldn't have landed a better shot. And I'm so glad that the ref stepped in because at that point, her equilibrium was all off.
Yes.
How proud are you of that highlight reel to end the year with? How pretty was that?
I mean, to be able to get a finish inside the UFC, in my sixth fight is something I've been striving for the last 5. So, just that alone is amazing. And, ending the season this year with the last fight of the year with the UFC and being able to showcase that and throw my right hand, which is something that, I've always had, and everyone tells me, shit, your right hand. And, to be able to put that out there and sort of put it on TV and have it as a highlight reel, it's unbelievable. It's something I'll get to have to look back for the rest of my life.
I love it because that'll live forever. That'll
Yeah.
live after you and the kids and the grandkids. Like that is forever. Oh, congrats on that. We have the new year right around the corner, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, of course, but every fighter has to have a plan or an idea. Most guys and gals say, get into the top 15 and fight for the belt and all that. But do you have any goals for 2026 that you're already contemplating or envision, like thinking like, I for sure want to do this, or I want to fight here, or this is the name. Anything you could share with us for next year?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just want more fights, and I just want to fight as often as I can. And my goal next year is to spend some more time wrestling and just working on my martial arts and just expanding myself as an athlete. I've always been this way from the get-go, and I'm not going to say, I want to be number one like tomorrow. I know that takes time, and just take each step on the ladder as it comes and just keep evolving and growing. And, I'm excited to be able to add more tools to the belt next year and become a better version of myself than I am now.
Absolutely. And last for me, because it is the holiday season and we got these things coming up, can you please share with us, if you'd like, a fun memory of this time of year, Christmas, New Year, family stuff, a really cool present that you got as a kid, anything that, probably people don't really know about?
I have a really big family. So, I come from a small town, and I have a really big family and a big support, loving system. And, going back to the family aspect, I've got 4 older brothers and 4 younger siblings, so I'm one of 9, right in the middle. And every year, it didn't matter if we got along or didn't, but my parents would give us a movie. And we would watch it Christmas Eve, and we'd all sleep downstairs, which we called the rumpus room. So it was just like a room where we had all our toys and hung out. We just make a giant bed, and we'd order, we get a really good dinner. We'd go look at Christmas lights, and then we'd sit downstairs and mess around. And I always seemed to get bullied into doing things, and I snuck upstairs to look to see if the presents were there yet. And my dad is very crafty, and he put fishing line with 2 wires across both sets of stairs, and he tied, which we left the recycling on the stairs, tied it to a milk jug full of nuts and bolts. Well, I tripped over the fish line, and my dad came running out, and I'd be hiding in the underground storage locker for 2 hours because we were getting in. He was coming down and watching. So, just get home and share those memories because I've got nieces and nephews now, and just keep the spirit of Christmas alive and family.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Congrats on the win. Happy holidays.
Thanks, guys.